I'd like to begin our meeting with the word of prayer. Chris, would you please go on to prayer?
Dear Lord, we come before you now. Thank you for this day you've given us. Ask that you be with us today. We travel about do your will. Ask that you be with the men and women in this room as they do business in the county and do your will as well. Be with us as we go and guide our steps. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Tyson. Begin in the back with District 5, Mr. Adams.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I move 1 through 6.
Oh,
Second.
got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Got only other one thing, update on the ambulance crisis that we've started out with the meeting with our fire chiefs. After that, we met with our for-profit ambulance services and the Jefferson County Department of Health. From that, we found that it's a much bigger issue than what we've considered initially and what was outlined in the Fitch report. And so we still need to meet with our two-year colleges and training facilities, along with Nigel, with developing more people, and also the Department of Health, who is really the governing body for EMS. And so lots more to understand before we take further steps, but we're working on it on a daily basis.
Thank you.
And also the state units has been talking about it, Joe, we was at the latest meeting, there'll be a resolution to the government.
By ACCA?
Okay, we've got finance, judicial, EMA, developmental, and general services. Commissioner Knight, finance.
All right, finance.
Good morning, Commissioners. Item number 1 is our unusual demand report. Item number 2, 3.
I'll move 1 through 7.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Under Budget Management Office, we have a budget agenda item for EMA for reimbursement for City of Birmingham related to World Games for $22,097.55.
I move all of those, and with the understanding that it looks like it's getting longer and longer. We want to look at that. I do want to move that, Commissioner Knight.
Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Precinct change, precinct 3220 to Ezra Baptist Church. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Thank you. Developmental services. Z220024. Zoning case.
Yes, sir. Good morning. This is a request to go from institutional 1 and R6 single family to R7 plan unit development for an age-restricted community. This is out near Shannon, close to where the entrance to Ross Bridge is located. They're proposing 2 4-story apartment buildings with 134 units, 25 cottages with 50 units. Those would be custom duplexes, a clubhouse, and this will also include the improved detention time on the property itself. Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval with conditions. 1 for a minimum landscape buffer 15 feet along the western side of the property. 2 to restrict the use of the property to it being an age-restricted facility, meaning that all persons would have to be 55 years or older, which is what the applicant is proposing. And then 3, all lighting shall be directional in nature. 4, the development of the property should be in substantial conformance to the site plan that was submitted for the application. And then lastly, a right of entry and maintenance agreement must be made between the developer and the adjacent property owner to monitor, maintain, and repair a dam that's necessary to ensure structural integrity and occupational capacity of the dam, and to be reviewed and accepted by the Jefferson County engineer. That goes back to where there was a detention pond that's located on the northern edge of the property. And this is just to mitigate any sort of effects between the development and the adjacent property owner, as that dam is sort of shared on the property line.
And this is in unincorporated Jefferson County.
That's correct. It is adjacent to both the city limits of Birmingham and Newburgh.
It was my understanding, I thought Birmingham was going to annex it. They already have.
I'm unaware of any of that.
So, I agree, we wouldn't have had it. That was the question that I had. It was my understanding that was all in the city of Birmingham. And that I don't mind, I don't want to do their work for them because they may want something different.
They are very aware of it.
They are very aware of it.
That's why I thought it was done, so I guess we
Yeah, if you don't, I'll move to the agenda.
Have a motion? Second. All in favor, please say aye. Z 220038.
Yes, this is an existing property with zoning that's not in compliance with the use. There's currently a mobile home on the property, and it's zoned R5 for a mobile home subdivision. I'm sorry, I take that back. It's not a mobile home property, it's a single family for you. And so this would just bring this property into compliance with the zone.
I'll move it.
Second.
Have a motion second. All in favor, please say aye. Z 220040.
Yeah, this request is to go from institutional 2 and C1 commercial to R2 single family. Again, this is for compliance for a large single family dwelling that's on the property. This is a historic dwelling that's out there, at the corner of Charles Hamilton and Old Tuscaloosa Highway. Several years ago, it was rezoned to C1 commercial for bed and breakfast. It was rezoned from R2 to C1 for, again, that bed and breakfast. Portions of it were then zoned to institutional 2 for the construction of a large church project for Garywood Baptist. They were planning to move to the property. Since then, all of those plans and all of those uses have not come into fruition, and the applicant just wishes to rezone this property back to R2.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
And again, Commissioner, I just want to remind you that case Z220005, the Fletcher Road rezoning case, will also be on this agenda, as well as the Z220037, that was the subdivision request on Bob Glen Road. Both of those were carried over from the previous agenda.
Have we had the public hearing on Bob Glen?
We have.
We have.
We have.
All right, did we get that drainage study?
It has been submitted, and as far as I know, it has been under review by the Department of Road Transportation. I don't know if there's been any findings of that yet.
Well, so the preliminary analysis, and this all is preliminary pending their final grading plans, but the proposed stormwater detention ponds address the impacts from that development and regrading for the one through the 100-year.
So it's, okay.
They'll just have to go through final site review to make sure that what they ultimately develop their proposed continues to meet the initial drainage calculations and assumptions.
Okay, well, I'll still have a couple of questions for him, but thank you. All right. Vestavia Country Club post-construction operation and maintenance agreement.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. And number 5, we got board appointments, Board of Appeals and Adjustment, Building Code.
Is this, whose appointments are there? Are they on there? Do we know?
I'll have to defer.
The exact name of who it is?
Well, yeah, just what districts they are, each commissioner usually gets a appointment.
I apologize, but I'll need to, can I get back to you? I'll be able to give you an answer. I'm not 100% sure.
Let me get a motion to pass it to the
So
agenda to
moved.
get that.
Okay, I will let you guys know in the
Motion and a
next 10
second.
minutes.
All in favor, please say aye.
There was an email sent. Oh, you know what? Hold on just a second. I apologize.
Each one of those are in zones, if I'm not mistaken.
No, this is not. This is for a building. It's a building code appeal.
A building code appeal.
Building code appeal. This
So
is
it's not a planning and
This
adjustment.
is planning and zoning board of zoning.
So this is no variance committee or anything like that?
No. This is just to appeal things as it relates to the technicalities of the building code itself.
Well,
And of that, forgive me, I believe there has to be an architect. I believe there has to be somebody who's a structural.
We've done that before.
We have. It's been several years.
Yeah, and that's,
2019 was the last time we did it, 2019.
right, and who is our person?
Mike Thomas, the building official, is the one who handles all the appointments and everything and organizes it. We only do it. We don't have to do it very often, but we only do it whenever we have a case that's gonna come up for appeal. That rarely happens, and anytime we usually get a heads up, and he got a heads up, one of the members either, I think one of the members, due to time constraints, had come off the board or whatever, and so he just needed to reapply.
Yeah, and, you know, normally,
No, you got
normally that's something that the commission takes part in. And if y'all want to appoint your own board members and things like that, I don't know why we're here.
Well, it's just a reappointment of David Pugh and then Rob, they're due to expire. So that's the
So,
only thing.
that's
They have to
fine.
be
Yeah, and yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I would, it wasn't explained that way in
in the short little,
the little short.
Yeah.
thing.
yeah.
Well, I thought we were doing a zoning adjustment form.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a motion and a second to pass it to the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. EMA, we got a Polygon software and annual inspection of our outdoor warning
moved.
zone. Have a motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
General Services,
Good morning, Commissioners.
good morning, Ms. Whitcomb.
General Services has 3 contracts on the agenda this morning. The first one is a revenue generating agreement for the multiple election services agreement with CenterPoint. Item number 2 is Hinkle Roofing Products. It's a roof replacement for a small roof at the Operations Center. And the third agreement is with the Birmingham Parking Authority. It is the agreement with the 4th Avenue deck.
How many spaces are in that? For
150.
150.
I move 1, 2, 3.
Have a motion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you.
Did you see what? I don't have anything on mine. Okay, we got a,
I'll move the DA.
you know, when we get these agendas, and then we get them modified the night before we get here, I mean, it's tough. So we got something on the district attorney, what you got?
District Attorney, Assistant District Attorney salary agreement, Cynthia Carter, Bessemer Division, for $61,773.85.
Starting on August 1st, 2022. Do I have a motion?
Do we have, did she have, funds provided?
No, probably not.
And there's a new budget. This is a new budget.
Yeah, that's right. So,
And Amazon.
Motion.
all right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm gonna continue to work off of my agenda, and if we got something else, let me know. All right. Did we pass general services? Yes. Human resources, add travel management services for $100,000. I guess this is for the,
No move.
Second.
have a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. We have the personnel board for information only.
1 through 5.
I don't know what
Yeah.
number 2 is, but it's for information only. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. And I have a community grant for Baltimore Park Foundation. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
The treasurer also has to approve that. On page 16.
Approved banks. There's no reason.
Yeah, we need to know who, what, these are the safe program, like,
Let me pull it up.
you remember?
Approved banks treasurer's office. No, I'm not gonna pass that. We can do that when they inform us what they're doing.
Move to deny?
Huh?
Move to deny?
I'm not even gonna
We're just told.
call a motion.
Hold it.
I mean, that comes in at the last minute, approved banks. I don't know when the banks are. No.
It's not.
No.
It's just a,
I don't have a problem with it, but I don't know what it is or who it is, and
It
we need
should
to-
be, it should be something that we include in our new fiscal year. That it's one of the resolutions that are passed during the new fiscal year. And the depositories that we're going to have, and I think they have to be part of the Safe Bank program and handle an approval through or from the state. Now, Darren, you would know that.
I'll get with the treasurer's office and get more
I
clarification.
mean, I don't have a problem doing it. I'm not gonna do it a lot.
let me ask this question too. I'm looking at the term that is used is approved as an ED. So I'm assuming that whatever this document is has already been approved by the commission. Is that, I'm looking at this, the word is approved. Right, so I'm saying if it's already been approved, my question would be, is this?
I don't know why it was worded
well,
that way. That's
okay.
just the short name that they put in the system.
Oh,
We need to
okay.
bring it up for new business on Thursday.
No, it just would give the appearance that it's already approved, right?
Banks are listed in the backup information.
It's in the resolution and the backup information.
You have All America.
But that was an added on item.
Not on this.
Justin, was that not in the first draft?
I don't remember. I thought it was, but I'm not positive.
What we would like to know is these are the approved depositories, and what is the, I see that there were banks on the approved depository that are not on this one. So I need to know the differences. You know, we had worked more with community banks in the past and able to put our monies out in the different areas of the community in order for, different, more local banks, if and when they qualify. So I would like to still hold this and to see where we are with that. And I would like, Darren, if you would be the proper
Yes, sir.
contact point, to get last year's depository list and compare it with this.
No, it wasn't on the original. So that's it.
But I want to be clear, this particular item, Mr. President, is something that I know that Commissioner Tyson and I talked about, especially when I heard you say Al America Bank. That was one of the things that we discussed probably about 2 years ago. That being said, this report that we are given is going to list all of the banks and basically, you know, what level of participation that we're using our funds to be able to do business with them.
There's the list if you want to see.
I mean, that's fine. I appreciate it. But what I'm asking for is when we talk about the level of participation, I want to make sure that if we're doing a comparison, that are we doing the same amount, or I just would like to see what that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and each bank has, they have a reserve ratio that you can't exceed. So it's the amount that they can take is normally, especially on these community banks, we usually ask them how much money that they can.
And you want to know how much
take.
capacity.
And understand that we usually try to do that. So we're on the same page.
Okay.
And the more banks and the more local banks we can include, I think the better off we are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Commissioner Chandra is here if you want to let her give a little bit more clarification on that.
Hi. On that resolution, Ms. Parker just went through and she was trying to add a couple of banks, and then some of the banks that transitioned. For example, BBVA is now PNC Bank. And then I think there was another bank that had some merging together. And then there was a couple of banks, I believe Renaissance Bank, that we don't work with, that was taken off as well for the banks.
Well, and I know the First Financial was not on there.
First Financial?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
You know, and that was one.
It is.
It is on?
Yeah, it is on.
It's on the, I didn't see it on what Justin showed, so.
Here, this is.
Okay, well, let's just,
Well, you want to delete the item, that's what it sounds like. Right, you're gonna delay it for further information.
Yeah, this one
Right about
has
that.
regions on it. I didn't see regions on it.
Yeah, let's put that back on for the 20th, and that way we have some information, please.
Is that you giving a time certain?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
September the 20th, committee agenda. I don't think there's any detrimental effect to doing
Thank
that.
you.
Is it time sensitive, ma'am?
No, ma'am, it is not. It was just trying to be prepared for the beginning of the fiscal year of
And we can
2023.
still do that by the 20th. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
What else we got? Do you?
I have a community grant, I think that was, we
Yeah,
already done that, that includes my report.
Okay. Administrative and Infrastructure Committee got roads and trams. Got several items here. Heather, good morning.
Good morning.
Are there any items that we need to?
Are there any new items?
No, really, you got the, covenant removal down on by the.
I move 128.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
County Attorney, minute from the, August 18th meeting, any? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
County Manager, got 4 items, yeah?
Just,
Got,
Can we just move 1 through 4? Mr.
we
President?
can.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. District 3 other business, I got a board appointment to the Jefferson County DHR. I have a board appointment to the Red Mountain Greenways Commission. Community grant to the City of Warrior,
Mr. President, I move 1 through 11.
and that's a lot of it.
And it's 1 through 11.
1 through 11. Got a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
I have a addition.
Oh, yeah, and
On number 11, I'm going to join in with Commissioner Stevens on the infrastructure agreement with Tanny Hill, and also add 20,000. Let's work on that. Was that? Okay.
yeah, that helps them with the ADA
Right.
parking. And that's something that they don't receive any state money. I hate that part. But it's a great, great place for becoming family family. So now we're down to District 2. Good morning.
Dr. Hamilton.
How's everybody?
We're good.
We have 6 items this morning. The first item is to move some of our CDBG DR 2012 funds that we have left over for the Hallmark project for the sewer system improvements. That will be in the amount of $280,290. And if you recall, during the last meeting, we had another $313,000 for that project out of our CDBG DR 2013 program. Number 2 is legal services agreement with Massey, Stotzer, and Nichols. This is just for the legal services that we need for our home program. They assist us with loan closings, low income tax credits, and then they will follow up with anybody that's delinquent in their loan.
Madam Chair, outside of one question, I'd like to go ahead and move items 1 through 6. They seem to be self-explanatory, and we don't have any other questions. All right, so.
I have a question.
No, I only have one question, that was my point.
Well, I know, but I have an old agenda. I'm under where the cooperation agreement with the Brighton Storm Shelter.
Okay, so we can share. All right, so my only question is, what we're doing as relates to item 5 and 6, I'm assuming this is to take those dollars, not so much of, for 5 and 6, that we basically just taking some dollars, moving them around, and basically assisting the city of Midfield to do to get this fire truck, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to know. Did you have something in addition to that? All right, so if that be the case, Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that we move items 1 through 6. And he already seconded.
Then first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Nigel, with, Department of Workforce Development.
Good morning. Workforce only has one item on the agenda. The resolution requesting permission of the president to execute modification 2 between Jefferson County and the Alabama Department of Labor for the under-job training program to amend the agreement term from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2023 to July 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022, and to increase the fine from $500,000 to $638,836.74.
Move the item.
Second.
Then first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I have, family board, Lieutenant.
Move items 1 through 2, 1 and 2.
Then first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
There you go.
All right, so Public Works Community Service and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, we have 2 items. Are there any questions as it relates to items 1 and 2? All right, move item. Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
We have 2 items for consideration under business. District 1, are there any questions? All right.
I did have one question, just because it said TBD on the budget.
Right. And
Is this just coming
yeah,
from
it's
next
going,
year's?
no, it's actually,
This year's.
and, yeah, and it's an amount that we already approved.
All right.
All right. Did you second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All right, thank you, Commissioners.
Mr. Lawson, do you have anything for us?
I do not.
That's on you.
All right, let me ask this. Why do we have a deadline for agenda items? Okay. If there's 3 or 4 additional items, actually, I came up here Sunday, and then my computer wouldn't turn on, because I was gonna print this new agenda, but I was asked about it this morning, I knew of 1 item, but I didn't know about the others, and the others that are additions. So, that's, I wore painted today.
And our new items that we do after that agenda's printed on and distributed on Thursday, they should be considered as new business, I would think.
If they're not on the agenda.
If
Well,
they-
but,
well, if
you know, when you change the agenda,
they're on the new business.
Well, then, Mr. President, may I offer this as a consideration, or maybe what we need to ask as a body is that if we do have any changes, at least if we would be notified, so that then we know that there's an updated agenda forthcoming. I think that would probably get us to where we need to be. I experienced the same thing too, I get it. But I'm also wondering if something needs to be done, I'm trying to get it on the agenda, so, and all of us have done it. So is that amenable to the body, for us to at least, if there's an updated agenda, that we are notified that, so that then it doesn't catch us off guard if something comes up? Okay, thank you, I appreciate it. Silence is consent. I got it.
You don't have any commission.
Well, I wanted to talk about what I did this weekend. The Solidarity Center, with the International Exchange Program with African American leaders from Colombia. I actually had an opportunity to teach a class in Georgia. It was very interesting because we wanted to do not speak English. We had translators to actually come to translate, and we had earpieces, you know, that we could understand and they could understand. They wanted me to stay until today, but I could not stay because I told them to come to commission. They want me to come there, which I don't think I would come within the next 5 years. So I'm skeptical of monkeypox, so I won't be going nowhere like that far out. But it was just great, and they are in a lot in leadership positions with the union. A lot of them hold political seats, but they were not able to sit on the finance committee still. I thought that was very interesting. That they would allow them to hold a seat, but not allow them to be on the finance committee. That'll never happen in the United States. I don't believe we'll shut it down first. So I thought that was very interesting. It was just a great program.
What was your talk? What was your talk?
They wanted to know how we were elected to this position that we were on, and what committees we held, and what kind of programs that we had, and just everything, really everything about the local government and the things that we actually do in the United States. So it was definitely an honor for them to ask me to come out of everybody in the state of Alabama.
I think that one thing that we need to do as a commission is that we need to do what we can to support the city of Birmingham and their anti-violence initiative that they have right now. Oh, it's become an epidemic, and I don't know that give the sheriff what resources he needs to help to get that done, but I am very much concerned. And I was out of town this weekend, and that's what I saw, was that there was so much violence going on, and we need to work with whomever we can to try to alleviate that. And it's going to be maybe to reinitiate these 99 neighborhoods and have them become more active and to work. There's, from my understanding, there's a small group that's perpetuating all of this. And several small groups. This isn't indicative of the city of Birmingham and its residents. This is indicative of a very small group within the city of Birmingham that's perpetuating this violence. So please don't let everyone say how bad our area is when it's limited to small groups perpetuating violence amongst themselves.
But Commissioner, I brought several programs, Commissioner Spears. You remember I told them about the programs that they had dealing with. First thing we cut children, and we cut senior citizens. And that's what has happened throughout, just not Birmingham, it's happening throughout Jefferson County, but they are only talking about what's happening in Birmingham. They have all of the youth programs, they have done away with all of the low-income youth programs. They don't exist anymore. You don't have pain. You don't have work youth games. All of that is gone.
We talked about
and I brought the people who Scotty. I brought him up here. They are the ones that was over the program. They were defunded throughout not only Birmingham, Jefferson County stopped giving them funding also. So those programs they got to come back. That's the only way you're going to keep these young people occupied. The summer job program and even the after school job program, that was defunded. The senior citizens program that actually went into the schools defunded. And all they needed was transportation. And we took the money from our class train to where they couldn't even take the seniors into the schools to work with the young people. So it's programs like that, and also the money that we was giving to Lawson, and it was some money that was going to Miles too, that was training young people. They defunded those programs, and I can get them all back. I got all their information, and I can call them all over. We can talk to all of them. And all of the people who was over those programs are still living. They're still here, and they're still active in other programs. But they still have the toolkit and the component that we need to try to solve some of these problems.
So, Mr. President, let me also kind of chime in on that too, because as you well know, that's kind of a sore spot for me because several years ago, when I came to this commission, I had already said that we had some issues, which of course folks said was political, but now you see the mess you have. And it's not just happening in Birmingham, I agree. We had a group of young folk that were in your district, went to a movie theater and decided that they would do some things there. One thing that I want to go on the record is saying on behalf of this commission, there was some dollars today that is going to allow for there to be some provision for nonprofit organizations that we could partner with to be able to help offset some of these issues that we have. But I will say this as relates to the sheriff. We're having a public safety town hall meeting on next week. And I will tell you, if it were not for the sheriff's department, I've had 3 separate incidents myself and called 911 and have yet to see the police. And I'm a commissioner, okay? This is not pointing fingers at anyone, it's just a fact. That's why you have records. But I can tell you this, no one should feel like they're caged in their own home, and we're not going to keep saying that this is a violent crime that's happening amongst folks. Because if a person is shot like they were in my district at a gas station with folks around, and you shot at a gas station but you don't care about the folks who are pumping gas, that's a problem. Okay? And so what happens, the difference between other cities and municipalities and you know, some others, is that they just enforce their laws. It's just that simple. If we enforce it and stop playing with it and do what we need to do, you'll be able to check it, because some of these same folk that are doing some of this foolishness, when they go into other areas of Jefferson County, they know how to behave.
That's the same thing I said, the incident that happened to me in Belson.
Yeah.
There was no way at 4 o'clock in the evening, they were shooting, it was, if you ever just was there to see this,
Yeah.
over a car, it was no way that he could hit the target.
Yeah.
And he shot up everything on the opposite side of the street. That's including Walgreens, T-Mobile, my car, and the other cars that was in the other line. Didn't care where he was hitting, and didn't even hit the guy that he was shooting at. That guy, and then didn't have, and the cameras that we put out there, the study had been done 3 months before to actually find out where the cameras needed to go. And it just so happened that I got caught up in the line of fire. And so the process has been started. They already are getting ready to start putting the cameras up.
But I think, didn't we talk about that? About making sure that we had some of those cameras that for the cities that would agree to allowing us to do it. I just wanted to be, especially when you have media present, is very incumbent upon us to make sure that we're telling our own story. Because what I don't want it to appear is though the county is not doing its part to be able to respond. But even when you put the resources that are out there, you're still going to have some level of collaboration where people put aside all of their indifferences, whatever that is, and take advantage of what's available. But I will give kudos to the Sheriff's Department. I must say that because I will tell this commission that I was at a town hall meeting at Huffman High School, and I thought it was just myself that wasn't getting a response. But it's a lot of people that were not getting a response, and they blatantly said it. And the one thing that they did say is that we see the Sheriff's Department even when we don't see Birmingham police. Now, I think that says a lot for us, that whenever the sheriff has brought something to the commission, we've always responded the way we need to. But I still say, in addition to that, whatever we need to do, however that needs to proceed, I am becoming increasingly concerned about the idea you can be in the right place. That's what I'm talking about. You can be in the right place and something happens to you. And so between Commissioner Tyson and our district, from the 2 young men sitting in a car in England to the young man who was shot and killed on Arkadelphia, which is in your district, with his babies in the back seat. This is the 2nd time on Arkadelphia that a shooting has occurred. That's foolishness. But, you know, again, I hope we don't get into jurisdictional issues like we did when I talked about this several years ago. It's awful. And it's a shame that I can go 5 or 6 minutes and I'm in Trussville and it's like night and day. Okay? And so we all know what that means. It just means that there are cities that are determined that you're not going to bring that foolishness and kill their economic development. You're not going to, and let me just say, because I'm on a little sore spot and I'm going to be done with this. You cannot take a hopeless community and expect them to be hopeful and do certain things right. The culture has to change. It's not just poverty. The culture has to change. In Collegeville, there were police in the housing community, in the housing projects, on video. And the folks had to be tased with the police there and still fighting.
Snatch this taser off and kill.
And the craziness about it is that at first that was the narrative, because I know PR when I hear it. That was the narrative. Or it's just amongst people who know them, know one another. Well, what happens to the old lady that's in the house washing dishes and you shoot up her house because you got a target that's moving, but you got a person that's shooting and they shoot up the person's home, right? So that don't mean that, you know, I just want it to be clear, Mr. Crenshaw and CBS, and I think is she with CBS behind you?
I'm ABC.
You ABC? Okay. So I just want to be clear that the commission, whenever there has been a need, has always made sure that we provided resources. But I'm being very candid with you. With those resources, now is going to have to come some demands. We just going to have to demand civility at all costs. And that's not the politically correct thing that folks want to hear, but that's just the truth. That's where we are. And it's a shame that folk have to feel, if you're commissioners and not being responded to properly, that's concerning.
And not only Birmingham, it happened to me in Bessemer. I didn't get a
Yeah.
and I called. Did I not call you?
You did.
I didn't get a response in Bessemer. So it's
Yeah.
not only Birmingham, and the cameras will be. The sheriff is the one manning the cameras.
Camera will be monitored by the sheriff,
Right.
and you're taking the majority of them, and I'm adding to it for my,
And
for
it's
the
gonna go
part
through.
that I have.
It's gonna go through
Well-
Lipscomb and Brighton.
Well, Mr. President, I will tell you, whenever those, if you don't mind, Mr. President, whatever that particular program is, I would appreciate, because I know that Bobby Scott and Centerpoint, thank you, Bobby Scott and Centerpoint, and whatever the cost is for Midfield, Fairfield included, since it's a sheriff, unincorporated Jefferson County, like Forestdale, wherever they need to go, I'm not going to try to twist people's arms in order to force them to receive our help. But for those mayors, Adamsville included, that wants help, I'm telling you, I'm willing to put those dollars there. This is absolutely ridiculous. And lastly, Mr. President, we need to make sure when we go into this legislative session, and in Jefferson County, to discharge a firearm is not a crime. And that's one of the things that I've been saying, that we need to make sure that we're looking at that. The sheriff is at a disadvantage if you can discharge a firearm and you don't have a law to enforce. That's in unincorporated Jefferson County.
Well, and there's a problem with that, because there's unincorporated Jefferson County is the woods. Everyone hunts.
I get it,
And-
but if it's in a residential area, if it's in an area that doesn't have structure, I get it. But I mean, I have deers in my yard. But guess what? At the end of the day, if it's a situation where if there are no adjacent residential properties, there's one set of rules. But if it's residents around that area, we need to define what that looks like, Mr. President and Commission, because that's problematic, especially for folks that are in Forestdale.
That's one of the things that we will look at, but to answer your first question,
Yeah.
that is a wonderful expenditure of our taxpayer dollars, just to work in cooperation to make sure
That's
that,
right.
that our citizens feel safe. You know, our job, number one, is to, if you feel safe, if you have good roads, you take care of your sides of your roads and make sure you have your infrastructure, your sewer, we're good safe, but the primary thing is to feel safe. And that's what our job as a commission to do. And I applaud everyone here because everyone is on the same page to get that done.
That's right.
And we will continue to do so. And God bless you, and I appreciate you, and that's what
You don't have that
prayer.
safety factor, no matter how.
You don't have anything.
You have a lawless city.
So that's
And
right.
county.
I'll get that information too.
Well, it has to be something that we can look at and hopefully it'll help address the real cause instead of just
That's right.
something wrong.
The
We
one
gotta
that I'm
target
referring to,
something else.
Some of the root causes.